Hello again, this is Wendy Down with your next recording in this Future of Aging series here in the Consciousness Playground. This is recording number 7 in our series. It's called How to Stop Aging as We've Known It. And I'm really excited to share it with you. I'm going to guide you through a very simple but potentially very life-changing exercise that will essentially close the book on everything we've known and understood about aging and allow you to step into an amazing time of bringing in a beautiful, wonderful, exciting new potential future on this topic. If you are brand new to working energetically or on the quantum level, you can simply treat this as a simple experience in imagination. And if you're very used to working on the quantum realm, you may find that there are some really deep, powerful, beautiful, subtle energies that will support you in making a very important and dramatic shift for yourself. Wherever you fall on that spectrum of experience or non-experience, trust that actually the work of this recording is already done, that it's already in the bag, and the step that is here for you to take on this topic today will happen or has already happened regardless of what you do during this exercise. Treat the exercise then simply as a chance to consciously engage with the change that is here for you today. So there's nothing you can do wrong. There's nothing you need to do better. There's nothing that's at stake, and certainly nothing will happen for you that will be more than you're ready for. Just trust that whatever is here for you is absolutely perfectly designed, custom designed to meet you where you're at and take you to where you're best ready to get to next. So to get started, because I want to get right into it, I invite you to close your eyes, take your attention inward, because this isn't an exercise you can do while you're performing other tasks. You need to get out of your the typical day-to-day mindset and take all of your awareness inwards, because the types of changes and shifts that happen are very subtle ones that you need to tune out all sensory experience from the outside and be able to focus your attention inward to those very gentle and subtle energies that indicate that changes are happening on the inside, which then later can be magnified and expressed back to you on the outside. So just settle in comfortably wherever you are. And now take your attention into your body, perhaps into your hands, and simply feel for the aliveness that's present there. This aliveness isn't something you can think about or figure out. It's something that you have to sense and feel. You may notice it as a tingly sensation, or a feeling just of life that exists on the inside. It may be soothing, it may be slow, it may be fast. Whatever it is, you're just sensing the aliveness in your hands. And if you want to, you can even extend your awareness of that aliveness up your arms and even through your whole body. Just gently turn your attention from the thoughts in your mind into sensing the aliveness in your body. Because this is the dimension where we want your attention to be focused in order to play with and consciously be aware of a change in your relationship to the whole topic and idea of aging. So now, in your mind's eye, if you're somebody that visualizes things, this will happen easily for you. If you don't visualize things easily, just kind of follow along with my words. You may feel things more than see them. You may hear things more than see them. But for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to describe something right now as a visual image. What I want to do, and invite you to join me in doing, is take everything that we know about aging and imagine it existing in a book in your mind's eye. Everything that any scientist has ever studied about the aging process, every bit of information that every biochemist has ever described about what happens in the body over time, every experience that every human being has ever had that they put under the category of aging. Absolutely every idea that we humans have had about aging as a concept, as an experience, as an inevitability, all of that, imagine it being assembled, collected in a book or in some form. It may be so much information that you see it as a whole wall of books or a library. Or it may be in digital format, as if you could Google the word aging, and every single image, idea, experience, understanding, perspective on this subject suddenly appeared and was all collected in some gathered format that you can distinguish as being part of that topic. So a book is how it appears to me, but for you, like I said, it might be a library or an online search. You might see it or experience it more as just, an object, a non-physical object. It might be a color. It might be a shape. It can be any size. It can be simply a feeling or a field of energy. Whatever it is, right now, all you want to do is, to the best of your ability, understand that everything that's ever been understood or thought about or agreed to about aging is now assembled in a form all together, and you are sensing it, seeing it. You don't have to understand it all. In fact, you probably, and I probably, don't understand only a tiny portion of it. But even the pieces that we don't understand are all gathered there. It's all right there in that book or that form in front of you. Everything that's known about aging is all there. There's not a piece that's missing. There's not an idea missing. Not an experience missing. It's all right there. Everything known about aging and the human experience or the animal experience of aging is all assembled there. All that the body knows about how to age is in that book. All that the mind or spirit knows about a lifespan from young to old is in that book. All of the emotions that people have and share about age and aging is in that book. Every thought every human being has had about aging is in that book. Nothing is missing. It's all there. Everything known about aging is in that book or that expression, in whatever form you're noticing it now. And whatever form it is absolutely perfect for you. Next, since everything known about aging is now gathered together, what you can notice is that there's something outside of that. In other words, that book or that shape or that field or that feeling exists within a space. It's distinguished out from the background, that book, and that book sits in a space. And that space is everything that is unknown about aging. And that's the space we now want to dip a toe into or start to explore. And so to do that, again, you can do this in your own way. But let me give you some suggestions on how you might do this. One way would simply be to turn your attention into that space and literally dip a toe or a finger or just extend part of your awareness into that space that represents everything that's unknown about age or aging. And the word age or aging may not even be relevant there. That space might better be represented to you by another word. And if a word presents itself, you can use it. But when you extend part of your awareness into that space, and you do it simply by noticing it, it's no more difficult than simply noticing that space is there. See if there's something in you that starts to feel a little different. And at first it may be very, very subtle, or something may happen with that book or library or whatever that image was or feeling was that came to you that represented everything that's known about age and aging. Perhaps that book will start to gently change. And if you would like to invite your relationship to what's known about aging to change, you can simply say to that book, how would you like to be different? Or would you like to be different? And then just watch or feel for what happens. Like I said, perhaps that representation will change shape, or it will become less solid, or it will assume a different position in your consciousness. It might drift away. It might get smaller or bigger. certain parts of it may recede or disappear. Chapters might disappear and other parts might remain. Just let your imagination run free and simply enjoy watching what happens right before your eyes as you now consciously change your relationship to aging as we've known it. Now, you're not likely going to understand what this will mean for you, and now's not the time to. Now's simply the time to play in your imagination and energetically with the feelings, the subtle energies, the images that are coming to you now. Because that field of aging is playful. And the field or the space within which that experience of aging rests is playful as well. In fact, it's all your energy expressed in form right now as feeling, as image, as picture, as potential, and you are safe to play. If it gets stuck in some way that doesn't feel comfortable, invite it to unstick itself. And what you want to keep doing is just watching and feeling. And as you do, you are working on a very real dimension or realm in yourself that's like the template for the physical experience you have in real 3D life. It occurs to me to mention that this field that you're playing with, this image, the whole concept of age and aging, and shifting it in a way that has you have a new relationship to the unknown, the space around that field, the potential around that field. This is also very fundamental work, and will be very supportive if you're someone who's now in the Youthening program, Consciousness Playground Youthening program, or will be or has been. Because right now we're actually consciously engaging with one of the downloads in that program. But we're doing it on a slower, more conscious, more deliberate basis that will deepen your experience there. So I'm just quiet because I'm paying attention to the changes I can feel in myself that also are my way of engaging from my end with exactly what you're paying attention to too. Now you may notice that the space around that object or field actually starts to play with that object, with that book, with that library, with that image or feeling. And so you can even be outside of all that, simply watching it, like you're in a movie theater, eating popcorn and watching the play-by-play. Because the space around that field of aging knows it inside and out. And it knows exactly how to reconfigure it to suit you now. In fact, every single cell in your body, every atom, since our bodies are holograms for the quantum world, every single cell in your body is going through this same dance. And you can treat it as though the DNA in each cell has to date expressed that field of what's known about aging or what has been known about aging. And now, as you consciously and deliberately are willing to draw forth some of what's been unknown, as we rewrite a new future of age or aging, and that word may no longer even be relevant. But every cell in your body engages in that dance and is conscious and deliberate and purposeful. And your mind does not need to understand it or control it. In fact, it can't, but it can come along for the ride. What you may notice is that there's a wonderful, as at some point that change, whatever it is, whether the book disappears or the library turns itself backwards or assumes a different form, whatever, there's a point at which you will recognize that it's done. And when that occurs, you will have established a whole new feeling level, vibration in your body. And that's where you want to turn your attention to next, because that is the next manifestation in physical form of the imaginary or quantum exercise that you did. There's real change that happens physically, instantly, with an exercise like this. And so you want to just pay attention to that. There may be words that you can use to describe it now, like open, or fresh, or clear. Maybe choose a few words and write them down that to just describe to you what you notice in your body or in the space that your body occupies, to say it another way. In the space that your body occupies, there's something new that you will be able just to put into terms and write those down. Or better, leave them as a comment where this recording is posted on the Consciousness Playground blog. And then the challenge that I would invite you to join me in is to assume that you have now stopped aging as we've known it. In other words, you are no longer in relationship to the concept, idea, or experience of aging. Anything we've known about it, you now have a different relationship to in this moment. And I would invite you to acknowledge that by using new language to describe your new relationship to age and aging. In other words, rather than talking about aging as present tense, talk about it as past tense. Rather than say we do age or it's inevitable that this happens, use we did, or I did, or we used to, or it was. Your words can really help mark what's in that field of what's known about aging. That's when you talk about we do, or we are, or I am aging. That's when you bring forth that field about what's known. When you say I was, or I did, or we did, you bring forth the potential that's in the space of what's unknown about your body and our future in relationship to that field of aging. So use your language to actually speak about which field you're in, what's known, or the field of what's unknown and in the future. And with that, I think we're done for today. So I will be in touch on Friday the 19th with the tip of the day, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.